Here's what Vladimir Putin wants the world to know. He is in charge. And not just when he's in a suit and tie, but always. On land, at sea, even in the air. A point I raised during the first of a two-day interview. How important do you think it is to project strength as a president?
It's not important to project strength. It's important to manifest strength. And it also matters what our definition of strength is. It's not just a matter of banging your fists and yelling loudly.
And in Mr. Putin's world, part of showing strength means controlling his image, even if at times it does seem a bit over the top. One of the images that we see of you in the United States is without the shirt on the horse. What's that about?
I'm relaxing. I have a great deal of photographs where I'm in my work setting, my office, but no one is interested in those.
You're saying they like the shirtless photos.
I've seen a photo of me galloping on a bear, but I haven't galloped on a bear yet. But those photographs exist.
His critics say that even here, in photos like these, Vladimir Putin is making you see what he wants you to see, an art he learned as a spy for the Soviet Union.
John McCain was asked, "You've met with Putin. You looked in his eyes. What did you see?" John McCain said, "I saw 3 letters, KGB." That's what we need to understand about Vladimir Putin.
Retired Admiral James Stavridis says Mr. Putin is always plying the skills of his old trade, especially against one country in particular. What is behind Putin's hatred for the United States?
His training as a KGB official, his sense of anger at the way he thinks Russia was treated at the end of the Cold War, and the sanctions, which are beginning to bite in very serious ways. Remember, with Vladimir Putin, in the end, all politics are local. He's about his own self-image in Russia of appearing strong and in charge.
His opponents say Mr. Putin also plays the game of smoke and mirrors to keep his fellow countrymen, many of whom are suffering financially, distracted. Since he's been president, he's controlled almost everything, from Russia's tanks to its banks, businesses, and natural resources. A few Russians, those closest to Mr. Putin, have benefited spectacularly.
This is a state that essentially exists now for the enrichment of Vladimir Putin and his cronies. This is cronyism.
Foreign policy expert Richard Haass.
What it has been is certain individuals were given certain franchises when things were privatized after the Soviet Union fell. And there's been phenomenal enrichment by a small group. And that's one of the ways, indeed it's a principal way, that Vladimir Putin retains control. A small number of people are very powerful, but also totally beholden to him.
And what about Mr. Putin himself? Officially, as president, he earns the equivalent of $100,000 to $200,000 a year. Some financial analysts believe his true fortune is far greater.
The range I've seen goes from $40 billion to $80 billion to $200 billion.
James Henry is an economist and journalist who has chronicled infamous leaders and their money.
In the case of Putin, we have the Panama Papers story from 2016, which implicated this cellist.
He's talking about this man, Sergei Roldugin, a Russian musician and old friend of Vladimir Putin's. In 2016, documents leaked from a Panamanian law firm dubbed the Panama Papers revealed Roldugin's extensive wealth in offshore companies. The cellist claims he runs a music foundation.
A foundation that was basically buying rare instruments and taking them back. Nothing with Putin's name on it.
But critics seized on that, saying the implication was clear. Mr. Putin was using his old friend Roldugin as a front to hide money. Let me ask you about Sergei Roldugin. Legend has it that this guy introduced you to your ex-wife, that he's godfather to one of your daughters. He's a cellist by trade, right?
Yes. So I know this person very well. He's one of my friends. He's a remarkable musician.
According to the Panama Papers, this massive series of leaked documents about offshore bank accounts, he's got assets, this cellist, of at least $100 million, including a 1/8 stake in Russia's biggest TV ad agency, a $6 million yacht, a stake in a truck manufacturer, or a 3% interest in a Russian bank. He must be one heck of a musician.
You know, I'm not aware of his business affairs, of what he does. But believe me, I know for certain that his actual income is just enough to buy those musical instruments. Everything else is just paper. It's just moving paper around. He has nothing else except what he's acquired.
People think,
Well, he might have something else, but again, you should ask him that. I don't run his life after all.
the question is how a cellist makes that much money. People ask it because many people believe that's really your money.
Listen, look at many of our artists, and you probably have people like that yourself. You also have Hollywood individuals, some of whom own restaurants, some buy stocks. Aren't there enough people in the show business industry in the United States? There are plenty, a lot more than we have, and we have a lot of them.
There's no issue with making money. I'm an American. We're capitalists. The question is whether that's really your money.
It definitely isn't my money.
But if that money does, in fact, belong to Vladimir Putin, he may have to stay in power to enjoy his wealth.
From a certain standpoint, you have to sympathize with Vladimir Putin. He's created a system that depends on him and he can't leave. If he leaves, he loses all his wealth and power, and there's no one else he can necessarily trust.
Then again, Vladimir Putin shows no sign of losing anything. Far from it. Coming up, Mr. Putin's definition of fake news. Do you believe the chemical weapons attacks in Syria are fake news?
Of course. First of all, the Syrian government long ago destroyed their chemical weapons. We're not even interested in it. I just feel like saying, simply boring.
The bodies of dead children, thanks to sarin gas attacks, that's boring.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.